Chapter 12 Manipulations, Myths, and a Composer's Spiritual Struggle. A child wakes to the sound of frightened whispering and the smell of smoke filling the air. Neighbors run through the streets, searching for somewhere to hide. The attackers, armed with weapons and sacred emblems, claim they are carrying out the will of a higher power. This might sound like a scene from a distant past. Yet it is a reality that has repeated itself in every century. Large-scale violence driven by faith. The focus shifts, but it often reflects the creed or doctrine the attackers represent. There have been countless moments in history when a religious cause was raised high to justify evil deeds. It raises uncomfortable questions about why people are driven to believe that the destruction of entire populations is justified. People in the Middle Ages claimed the Crusades were righteous in the eyes of God. Historians estimate that over 1 million people died in those campaigns. Leaders proclaimed Bible verses to inspire followers to join a holy mission, a necessary task. Religious leaders promised spiritual rewards in return for violence and mass murder. Killing in God's name became a sacred act with a noble higher purpose. The interesting part is how ordinary believers were convinced that killing in the name of faith was acceptable. Promises of better social status in this life and the next. The seal of approval from influential spiritual figures played an important role in motivating these atrocities. Similar stories appear at different times and places, often with tragic consequences. The conquest of the Americas is another example, where European colonizers came with cross and sword, claiming to spread the message of salvation, while their true motivations were primarily land and resources. Indigenous cultures were branded as heathen, allowing the intruders both political and religious expansion in God's name. The result was the destruction of countless societies and the near eradication of entire cultures. Historians still debate the exact numbers, but millions of indigenous people lost their lives through warfare. Disease spread rapidly among the native population. The intention to save unsaved souls became a way to rationalize cruelty. The motivation, however, was clearly a ruthless pursuit of power. The horrors were excused as being rooted in ethnic divisions among the occupied peoples. In our own time, we remember well the Rwandan Civil War and the horrific massacres that took place there. The population was divided between Hutus and Tutsis. The religion of the Tutsi population played a major role, as many citizens strongly identified with certain churches. Some religious leaders were later accused of participating in or encouraging violence. Priests who had once offered spiritual guidance on how to live in humble compassion now stood by as, in just around 100 days, some 800,000 people were killed. The heartbreaking part is how moral institutions that normally emphasize compassion did not stop the brutality, and in some cases even contributed to and reinforced it. Against this backdrop, we enter the mind of a searching artist, a composer struggling with his work. A composer burdened with years of manipulation by all kinds of myths, legends, and superstitions. Superstition is just as much what organized power religions engage in, not only shamans and storytellers. The way back, the composer's dramatic journey home from Oz to his hometown in Mur og Romsdal, the composer has written a work whose title suggests a natural circular, elliptical form, departure and return. It becomes a round trip after having looked into a grim reality at the journey's imagined destination, the journey's original goal. The sight of the Wizard of Oz becomes an unpleasant encounter with a vanished enchantment. The discovery, the revelation, has consequences for the composer's perception of reality. Descent and Arrival is a shocking account, filled with illusions, imaginary truths, claims, and dogmas deeply planted in the composer's subconscious over many years. Fairy tale-like stories about gigantic, invisible extraterrestrial beings that rule this world from the heavens. In ancient times, they appeared as visible figures. The old writings found in the Middle East thousands of years ago tell of giants, of serpents and donkeys that speak. The burning bush that speaks. Walking on water, turning water into wine. The dead rising from their graves and wandering through the streets of Jerusalem, as if it were perfectly natural. Today, all that remains are grand buildings adorned with icons on the walls of the house of God. Yet belief in these gods, angels, demons, and outdated tales is dying out. Though still alive in the imagination of many. This enormous house of cards has been creaking for a long time but is now about to collapse completely.